All right, welcome to CJ 115 Criminal Courts. I'm the professor, Mr. John Unterreiner. I'll talk a little bit about myself, but I wanted to give you guys a quick video, kind of an overlook of how Moodle works and some of the tips for this class and how to be successful. So this is my fourth year at CMO. I went as an undergraduate student here, and then as a graduate student, ultimately a graduate assistant to an adjunct faculty. I moved up to Kansas City and taught as a temporary hire all online courses for 1 year, and then I've been back here for 3 years. Currently, I live in St. Louis and just drive down for my classes and office hours. So I am available to meet with you. Sometimes in online classes, students feel like they don't have any availability to meet with the professor. You'll see on the syllabus my office hours. I'm always available by email and phone. Easiest way to get a hold of me is email, and then we can set up a good time to meet face to face if that's what's required. So just a quick overlook here. Here's our Moodle page. Up top, you're going to find some important things to very start the announcements. Anytime I have an announcement, this is the easiest way for me to get this to you. This should auto-generate an email to you, but if you want to come back in and look at some of the emails that have been sent, you'll see them posted right there. There's class information and introduction you can read. We'll get to the syllabus in a second. There's a little introduction from me. And as we move down, these are some of the more important things. Okay, the Purdue Online Writing Lab. This is a great resource for you to go to. If you click the link and then go down here, it'll bring you to the APA style, and then from there you can find what you're looking for. Okay, you will need that throughout this class. Then if we go back to the main page, there's also some other things here that are important. The paper requirements are all right here, okay? And then down below is a how to format APA paper. This is something most of you aren't going to concern yourself with right out of the gate. It is available and open at the beginning of the semester, but it's not due until closer to Thanksgiving time. But the other things that I strongly encourage you to read are the written assignment guidelines and the journal guidelines. These are going to be guidelines that explain to you how to do the assignments, right? So if you look down here in Unit 1, you'll see our first week, August 19th today, till next Monday the 26th. We're going to be covering Chapter 1. And over on the right, you'll see your assignments. You'll see read Chapter 1, obviously, and I can't emphasize this enough. In online courses, sometimes students feel like they don't need to read or that they can skip over reading. While that may be true, and you may be able to get a pretty decent grade without that, you're not going to be learning all the information necessary. And you might do well on quiz number 1, but when it comes to exam time, you're going to miss out on some of that information that you skipped over. So I do encourage you to read the book. You also have a quiz, and then you'll see a journal, and then right below that you'll see the due date next Monday at noon. Okay, and then from there on you can kind of map out your schedule. Next week we cover Chapter 2, the following week Chapter 3 and 4, and then that September 9 through 16 week would be Exam 1. If you scroll down further, you'll see in Unit 1 the chapter PowerPoints there for your viewing. Okay? Then the quiz, and it will have the information. It opens at midnight on August 19th and closes at noon on the 26th. It's 5 multiple choice questions. You have 5 minutes. That's how it works. You'll see the journal there as well. If you click on the journal, you'll see the question describes some of the key differences between law in the books and law in action. And then you'll start your journal. All right? So very, very basic stuff. If we get to a written assignment like there is in Chapter 2, you'll see that as well. Okay? You'll see the question, you'll see the due date. If you click on it, you will have the opportunity to upload a submission. So those are primarily your assignments, quiz, journals, and written assignments when it comes to this class. And that's how it'll break down. So I'm going to go back real quick and head up to the syllabus and open this up and go over it briefly with you guys. I don't want this to be a super long video. Once it loads here, we can talk about it. If it loads. So what you'll start to see on the syllabus, and this will kind of be your guide, especially in an online class, you want this to be everything for you. So please, please read it. You'll see over here on the left, the first page, my office cell phone number or my office phone number. I can tell you, don't leave me voicemails. Okay, just send me an email if you need to get a hold of me. You'll see my office hours. Most weeks it's Monday 10:15 to 1:15. Some weeks it switches over to Wednesdays. You'll see my office building, which is Brant Music Hall, and then my room, which is 332. Over here, you also see the course description, purpose of the course, textbooks, readings, and other resources. All right, I'll let you read that stuff. But I'll skip over to page 2, which is kind of the meat and the potatoes of the syllabus, is the evaluation and grading. And in yellow, I've highlighted some of the key things. No students will be considered for a bump in their grade unless they completed all assignments and completed all the available extra credit opportunities. No exceptions. Okay. If you are close, if you're a 79.4, whatever the case might be, and you didn't take advantage of the extra credit, then that's on you. Okay. If you're a 79.4, you've done everything you can, and it comes to me, then it's a judgment call on my part. And guess what? I'm most likely going to bump you because you've done everything, and there's a good chance that I didn't grade something accurately, and that cost you the grade. Okay, but you have to put in the effort, and you have to do things necessary. Throughout the semester, some extra credit opportunities will arise, and I'll let you know when those happen. All right, but that is very important. Right below that, you'll see each assignment's always due Monday at noon, except for the final exam, which will be due on a Thursday. Okay. Quizzes are right here. There's 15 quizzes. They'll cover each chapter worth 5 points for a total of 75 points. There's 7 journals. Each journal will cover a specific chapter and a topic from that chapter that I feel is relevant. And there's 7 points, so a total of 49 points. You'll see right below this, and we'll get to this in a second, but journals require an in-text citation. Okay, that is different from a reference. Okay, an in-text citation means it goes in the text. It means if I write that in 1910, John Augustus founded probation in Boston, Massachusetts, at the end of that sentence, before the punctuation, I would need a citation because that's not common knowledge. Okay, I learned that from somewhere, thus I need to credit the source that I learned it from. Okay, doesn't matter if you use the book, doesn't matter if you use an outside source, whatever source you use, you need to give it an in-text citation. Okay, journals require 1. All right, they require 1, even if it's a personal question. If I ask you, what are your views on the current marijuana laws in the state of Missouri? You might have your own personal views of that, but I still want you to draw from some kind of factual basis. So you need to find relevant information that support your views. Okay? There's a document titled Journal Guidelines that we'll get to. Right? Written work is very similar. There's 4 of those. Okay? They're worth 12 points for a total of 48 points. They require in-text citations as well. They require 2 sources. The book is always an acceptable source. So if you use the book for a journal, that's completely fine. That counts as your source. You can use it as a written assignment source as well, but you need another one. And we'll kind of go over the differences in journals and written work. The exams are also, there'll be 4 exams, 1 for each unit, 1, 2, 3. And then the 4th exam, your final exam, will cover all chapters, but primarily will be unit 4. Okay? So while the first 3 exams are 50 points, 50 questions, the final exam will be 75 questions. About 60 to 65 of those questions will come from Unit 4, right? So it's a cumulative final, but not in the way that most instructors do that. Okay, your exams may consist of a combination of things. Okay? I do a lot of multiple choice. I do true false. Sometimes I'll throw in an essay question. Very rarely do I do short answers. Sometimes I'll do matching depending on the question. So they can be a variety of things. So give yourself time, right? And then the paper is talked about on here as well. I'm not going to spend a ton of time because we'll kind of go over this as we get in the semester, but the topic is left up to you. So as we go on throughout this semester, if you find something that you're interested in, relevant to this course, relevant to our book, relevant to what we've talked about, you can expand on that topic. Okay? Don't throw something out of left field that has nothing to do with this class. That's not going to be approved as a paper topic, but I'm pretty lenient when it comes to that, and I want you guys to find something that you're interested in and that you want to expand on and take it from there. Moving down, you'll see the percentage, pretty standard stuff right there. Attendance and participation, there it is again. You'll see the yellow, the same thing. Okay. Makeups and late assignments, this is a big one for me, and I get this every semester, especially in online classes. Your assignments are open for a little over a week. Right, they open Monday at midnight and they close the following Monday at noon. So a little over a week. If you wait to turn them in until Monday at 11:50 a.m., that is completely fine. It doesn't matter to me if they're in there 7 days early or if they're in there 7 minutes early. You will get the same grade. I don't grade them differently. However, if you're going to wait to the last second, then no excuses are allowed. Okay? Your car tire goes out, you get called into work, you have a sick kid, your computer crashes, that's on you, okay? Now, if that happens with 5 days to go, you can email me and say, Mr. Unturner, my computer just crashed, Okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm trying to get a new one. I'm trying to find time to get to the library. Can you work with me? And I can work with you. But on Monday at the last second, I'm not going to work with you. Okay, so please do your best to work ahead, because there are things that come up in all of our lives. Okay, but if you don't do it to the last second, I'm not going to have that flexibility with you. Okay, there obviously are some legitimate excuses. Okay, family deaths, your own personal illnesses and health related issues. Catching a cold on a Monday isn't good enough for me. All right, but there's certainly things that come up over the course of the semester where common sense dictates that you need a little bit of extra time and it's not your fault. I handle those on a case-by-case basis. But the easiest way to avoid that, okay, is to simply do it ahead of time. Even if you do it Sunday, okay, and shoot me an email and say, I'm having issues with Moodle or whatever the case might be, then at least I know that you put forth the effort without waiting until the last second, and we can work on something. All right, but that is a very firm thing. Don't email me assignments. I won't grade them. Okay. Moving on down, academic dishonesty, cheating, and plagiarism. Anything you turn into me counts under the rules of plagiarism, whether it's a journal, written assignment, essay, question on an exam. So please don't plagiarize. It happens every semester. Different faculty handle it differently, but we'll have a nice conversation if I catch the plagiarism, all right? You can use other people's works if it's around quotes and it's properly cited, right? That is perfectly acceptable. So it's okay to use other works, you just have to give proper citation. And when I say use other works, I don't mean an entire paper. I mean a couple sentences that help prove your point or back up your claim, all right? The other thing is don't take exams together, all right? I know a lot of times in college courses, an online exam is easy to get together and take. That's not allowed, okay? That's the easiest way to put it, is it's not allowed, right? We can see the IP address you take it from. We can see when you log in and log off. So please take the exam by yourself, just like you would in a normal class, right? Moving on over, academic services. If you have any issues, if you need extra time on exams, if you need somebody to read the exam for you, whatever the case might be, please contact them. Okay, will reach out to me. They'll set you up with something, and then we can move on from there. Okay. Final note: be courteous. Hey, be courteous of other students. If there's a form that pops up, some extra credit forms, and you see other students writing, understand that not everybody has the same views, and sometimes we come from opposing viewpoints. By all means, you can oppose somebody's viewpoints, but be courteous in your response to that. Any questions or concerns that you may have, go to me first. Please email me, call me, stop by my office. I'm a very personally easygoing individual, so I'll be happy to work with you. If you don't get the resolution that you want from me, then my chair's name and number is right here, Dr. Christopher Bradley with his email. Feel free to reach out to him. Okay. At the bottom here is just an outline. This is what's on the Moodle page as well of kind of how the semester is going to go. So that is the syllabus. Okay. Now going back and clicking on the written assignment guidelines and the journal guidelines. That way you guys can see this and we can talk about this real quickly. Okay. These are the journal guidelines. They range from 300 to 500 words. It's a very short journal. Okay. Please ensure that you're answering the question in detail. Okay. Don't just get to 301 words and call it quits if you haven't answered the question fully. That's not going to get you a good grade. Okay. They should have at least one source, including questions that are opinion-based, like I talked about earlier. Okay. And they should follow APA and text citations. Okay. If you don't have a citation, it's an automatic 0. And I can't stress that enough, because every semester it takes some students 2 or 3 weeks to figure that out. And by that point, they have 0s on the first couple of assignments. So please follow that. If you have questions on how that looks, there is a link online, but I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you have about that. Okay. The written assignment guidelines are going to look similar, but just a smidge different. You'll see they're a little bit longer, 750 to 1,000 words. Okay. These are going to be submitted via Microsoft Word documents or Apple documents, whatever you have. Okay. The journals are uploaded on Moodle. You don't have to upload a document. You just type into a box. But these are different. You have to upload a document. So they need to be Times New Roman. They need to be 12-point font. And they need to be double spaced. Those are in bold because they're important. You will lose points if those aren't done right. Okay. You need 2 sources. The book is an acceptable source, but you'll have to go outside of the book to find another source. Okay. Please don't just Google the first thing. Okay, if we're talking about marijuana laws in Missouri, don't Google that and click on the first article. It may not be reputable. Okay, Little Johnny's blog is not a reputable source to pull from. Wikipedia is never a reputable source to pull from. The information on both those sites can be accurate, okay, but it's not double checked. It's not peer reviewed. Okay, it can also just as easily be inaccurate. So make sure you're pulling from accurate citations, accurate sources. Okay. You only need APA in-text citations for written assignments. I don't want a reference page. It doesn't have to be a full-on APA paper, just in-text citations. Write your 750 to 1,000 words, cite where necessary, and that's it. Okay. These are research papers. Okay, they require research, thus the research papers. I don't ask opinion pieces on these written assignments like I do on some journals. Don't use I, don't use me, don't use my mother, my father, my friend. These are not personal papers. You may have personal stories or experiences that can help you with this, but they need to be founded in research, not personal experiences. So please don't start writing about the bail system and how unfair it is to individuals living in poverty and use examples from your own life. Okay, those are great and they have a time and a place, but it's not in a research paper. Find the research that backs up your experience and expound on that. Okay? The last thing your written assignment should have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Introduce what you're going to talk about. Okay, talk about it, and then that last paragraph needs to be a summarization of what you talked about. Right? So make sure you remember that. So those are the guidelines. Again, I'm not going to talk about the final paper as much. I'll post another video as we get closer. But please take a look at this Moodle page. Please email me if you have questions. And please look at the feedback that I give you. Sometimes it's minimal, especially if you do great work. It might be something as simple as excellent work, great content, good job answering the question. Or it may be something, if you miss a few points off of, you didn't answer the second part of the question, your in-text citations were incorrect, whatever the case might be. But please look at that and get better, and email me if you have questions. So good luck this semester. I look forward to working with everybody, and we'll catch up soon.